Corey. That's Mitch. This is Alicia, and that's Angela.
Hello.
And Alicia is a breast cancer survivor, and Angela, you've been the caregiver.
Yep, I'm her wife and been a caregiver for the last 6 years.
So we're very, very interested in doing what we can to fight breast cancer. That's why I'm wearing pink every day for the month of October, and we're raising as much money as we can for the American Cancer Society. Let's just start briefly at the beginning. Tell us about your diagnosis. When did this happen? What went through your mind?
Yeah, so I was 27 when I first found the lump in my right breast.
Wow.
Yeah, and I listened to rumors, I'm young, it doesn't happen to young people, it doesn't run in my family, things like that. So because you're invincible when you're 27, I decided to let it go and just ignore it as it was a benign thing. And so fast forward about a year and a half, I went in finally and got the check, and then they broke the bad news. It's like, hey, it's cancer, by the way. And then it was like a slap in the face, because you go from thinking that this is nothing and waiting a year and a half and all these different rumors and that's why it doesn't happen to young people and this type of thing, and then you're like, wow, what are you, it's like it just kind of juggles your whole world just upside down.
And it's a good point that you said it's not in your family. I think a lot of people take for granted that if it's not in your history, well then you don't have to worry about it, which is not true at all.
Absolutely. It's in fact, they found that it's a low percentage that people have it in their family that actually get it later. I mean, it does happen. It's just people can't listen to that as the only thing. And the fact that people say, well, mammograms happen when you're 40. Well, which was by mistake, because that actually isn't necessarily the way to judge whether it could be. You need to listen to your body, pretty much, is what I learned out of that.
And that's what's great about the American Cancer Society, because with insurance, I had to fight to get the BRCA testing, because my mother and her mother both had breast cancer, and it was so hard and so difficult with the insurance companies, because my doctor recommended I start getting mammograms at 30, and to get the insurance company to cover that was such a struggle. And it's like, wouldn't it be cheaper for you to cover my mammogram than to cover cancer treatment?
That's absolutely right.
Where are we now?
So I am in middle of I take a pill a day that helps keep the cancer away with the estrogen, because mine was estrogen fed, so it made it a little more aggressive. And I just got a hysterectomy so that I could also reduce the reoccurrence by a little more. Finished chemo a couple years ago, finished radiation, had 2 mastectomies, and now I'm just kind of trying to live day by day and be scared for every test that comes up, because those happen, and the doctors remind me, because I was so young and because my cancer was so aggressive, which actually is common with young people because they're so full of estrogen more. So now, so now I'm in menopause, and the doctor's like, well, because of all of that, it's I'm really not out of the woods till about 20 years.
Wow.
Versus where most people had that good 5-year awesome reduce. Mine reduced a lot, the percentage of reoccurrence, but not as much as it should for somebody that's 5 years out.
So we're trying to raise as much money as we can for the American Cancer Society and their fight against breast cancer. How did the American Cancer Society help you two?
I was just going to ask that. Good thinking, Lincoln.
So for me, when I was diagnosed, I had a doctor that was terrible at the time. And she basically just said, these are the results. You got cancer. Come pick them up at my front desk.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah,
It was horrible bedside manner.
And it took her an extra day to get back to me after my biopsy. So American Cancer Society had an advocate, and it's called Reach to Recovery, and that's where they set a breast cancer patient who also had similar type of breast cancer, and they send them to you, and kind of it's a confidential thing, and they get these trainings and such. She called me, and she was able to explain what my cancer was, the name of it, and that, and give me that promising, hey, this is the most common that most women get, and so this will be,
do it in a way that you felt comfortable.
Right?
Sure.
Yeah, because I'm like, okay, I'm dying, and she's like, well, you are, but it's like
you don't have to be.
You don't have to be. That's exactly right. She was able to tell me, hey, this is how. They're used to treating this type of cancer, because like at that time 85% of women had that cancer.
Allison, were there other ways that the ACS...
Who's Allison?
I can't get my name straight.
That's Angela.
Angela. Were there other ways the American Cancer Society hopped in and helped your family? Right.
Yeah.
I think the biggest way that American Cancer Society helped us was the family environment, the family atmosphere, that there's more cancer survivors there and we're all in it together.
Yeah.
And we both started out as team members with with American Cancer Society Relay for Life, and now I'm the event lead for Relay for Life for Portland.
Oh, cool.
She's one of the core people that's bring the people, but because American Cancer Society helped us out so much in the beginning and walked us through that first part of the journey, we felt we wanted to give back, and more people should be aware that these resources are out there, especially survivors. If they need a ride to and from their treatment, they can call American Cancer Society. If they're having a rough night and can't sleep and they're scared to death, they can pick up the phone and call that 1-800 number and talk to them at 3 in the morning.
And if therapy, there's like group therapy. My mom went to group therapy, and it's so nice to be around people who understand what you're going through.
Exactly.
And the one thing that doctors always told you, stay off online when you get diagnosed. Don't do online. And that's true. I wouldn't do online. But if you're going to do online, go to the American Cancer Society's website, because they have, and if you can't remember that, the 800 number or whatever, you're like, oh, what was that resource? They can go onto the ACS website and actually look it up and say, oh, and there's so much more to explore in there too, which I have to say keeps you a little busy, because when your mind's spinning, there's some promising things in there, and there's a lot more information on the actual cancer itself that makes much more sense than what other websites do.
How old are you now?
35.
Okay. So you've been cancer-free
6 years as of July.
Okay, congratulations.
Yeah, thanks.
But the struggle continues, as you
Definitely.
mentioned. Yeah.
Absolutely. You get a call that says, hey, we need to do a bone scan, and your heart drops, and every time, right now I'm at 6-month checkups with the oncologist, so, you go in, and it's tough because you're going through menopause with, like, my mom and I went through menopause together, and, and you're going into these places where, my family doctor says, I'm treating you with medications that I treat 80, 90-year-olds with medications for.
Wow.
And so,
But it's all from the life-saving treatments that she needed to kill this cancer.
Right. And so it's definitely, there's bittersweet on both ends, and there's still things where, you're coming back from chemo, and there's different things that still connect you with chemo, and reminders, and every summer I get that sick feeling because, it's like PTSD almost.
Oh,
and,
sure.
So it's never really over. Treatment stops in a certain level, but it continues. And being 35, you've got so much more. So it's like when I first was diagnosed, I look back and I thought, I keep looking back, in fact, and I think, why did I just go in when I felt that lump? Why did I listen to the rumors? I needed to listen to my body. I had all these kinds of, I was fatigued. I had all these different symptoms, and I just excused it with life, and it would have taken nothing to just go into that doctor and have them either excuse it with life or get me when I was stage 1 or stage 0 versus me trying to diagnose myself.
So that's the takeaway if you hear nothing else.
Absolutely.
Check yourself and pay attention.
Absolutely. Yes. Listen to your body, and even if you're young, it happens to early 20s, it happens to all ages, so never ever listen to just rumors.
As we learn more and as we grow, that's what we're learning. That it's not just hereditary. It's not just for people over 40. It's something that you have to be aware of.
Yes, and push. If your doctor says, "Oh, you don't need a mammogram," push it.
Fire them.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Be your own advocate.
Yeah.
Another opinion.
Alicia?
Yes.
Angela?
Yes.
How about that?
Yay! You did
We
it.
wish you nothing but the best. Yes, nothing but the best. Make that donation right now. You're on our website anyway. Do it. Make a donation of any size. If it's only $10-15, please do it. If you can do more, it is greatly appreciated. That's just a fraction of what the American Cancer Society does for folks, families facing the struggle of their lives. Thank you both.
Yes,
Thank
thank
Wish
you.
you the best.
Guys.
Let's stay in
Thanks.
touch.
All right.
And thanks for watching.
Thank you.
Thanks.